So, hello everyone. Welcome again to our study group of the Spiritist Group of New York. We have been studying about Perispirit uh, for the past 2-3 weeks, and so today we are going to continue. Of course, when we are talking about a complex subject like this one, we cannot imagine that even if it takes us a couple more weeks or so for us to finish, and it means that we have covered or even understood everything that has to be understood in relation to our spiritual body. There is so much that we know, but so much more that we still do not know, and so we can only really touch almost basic knowledge in relation to our spiritual body. But even then, it's important for us to have this kind of information, to have this understanding, like we were talking at the beginning, how we as spirits always have this matter that accompanies us. And in a way, it is the link that will possibly make it possible for us to express ourselves as spirits in different worlds, not necessarily only here on earth, but in different worlds, because we may have experiences in other worlds before and after this one. So this is the body that will accompany us. But when we are talking about this spiritual body and the manifestation of the spiritual body, that is this question that comes to mind, because we know that there are people that have the ability of seeing the aura of others. So, and our question here is, are the aura and the perispirits the same? Let's read the answer. They are not the same thing, nor do they fulfill the same functions. The former, the aura, disappears with the death of the body, the physical body, while the second survives the physical body's disintegration and accompanies the spirit to the invisible world. The human aura would be the outward radiation of the spiritual body, and its colors vary in intensity and shade according to the state of health and the greater or lesser spiritualization of humans. So it's very important for us here to understand that we are not talking about the same thing. One thing means are we irradiating even from our physiology, from our physiological emotional state. There is still an intermediate body uh, that we are not going to be touching that much here, that we call the etheric body, that is the body of health. This is basically the one that we said that, this is the will o' wisp when we see in the cemeteries, or, it's energy that is released. So our aura is the same thing. That's why it varies in color, intensity, because as a spirit, if I could see you as a spirit, as spiritual body, perispirit, we can say about the spiritual evolvement of the person, and that is going to be pretty much stable. But when we are talking about the energy that emanates from our more from our physiological emotional state, that's why we have this variation. So sometimes I may look at someone and see a very dark aura, and the following day is going to be a very light aura because something incredibly good happened to this person, and it completely dissipated all the negative energy that was surrounding this person. So it is not the same, like it says here, it's an pure physical emanation of our energy, of the energy of the spiritual body, the physical body, reflecting our state of health, physiological and mental and emotional. Any questions or comments?
Yes, Jusara, you hear me?
Yeah, if you could speak a little loud. Let's see. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. What I want to know is this thing about the word human. I want to know this is the perispirit without a body cannot function, and why is it called human? I mean, without the physical body, and what's happening is that because he's in, part of a physical body, he's responsible for his actions. And so I'm trying to clarify in my mind what's the difference between when we say human and we at the same time we say perispirit.
Actually, human can be used to so many things, Orlando.
No, because when we say human, we say physical, and we're dealing with spirit.
Not necessarily, because we can say that you have a human form, and the perispirit has a human form. It is physical, but it's not visible to our eyes. You see, it's sometimes, I mean, if we get too much lost in the terminologies,
yes,
it's very easy. We already mentioned that other times. Okay, we are spirits. Whether we have a physical body that is denser or more ethereal, it doesn't matter. And we as spirits have decided to label what we know of the physical form as being the human form. So even when I am spirit, okay, and I have the perispirit, for someone who's going to be having the capacity, ability to see my spirit, between quotations, perispirit, is still going to see a human form. So it's going to be seeing Jusara with one head, two legs, two arms, two hands, and the body. It's going to be one and the same. So as long as we have that in mind, you know, whether we are too physical or less physical, it's because we are always physical.
okay. As you said, one very quick question, and I'll keep quiet. What happens with a blind man? A blind man is born. Is he told in the spirit world that he's going to be blind? And the physical body is blind. I mean, it's not able to use its organs, the eye. But the spirit, he's able to see beyond that, the organs, no? And he could be of help.
Yeah.
And again, I'm looking for justice.
Yes, of course, Orlando. And even when we study here from the physical aspect, a person normally sees from the brain. It doesn't see from the eyes, right? The brain is the one that codifies the things, everything. So we may have our physical body impaired, not allowing, you know, the images to be codified by the brain. But we have a whole session in the spirits book that talks about the sensations of spirits. And what we learn from there is that, you know, we feel with every cell of our body, we see with every cell of our body. So the physical organs, in the sense for the perception, sensations and perception of spirits, is a totally different matter. And I think it's very, when you talk about it, justice, it's very good to know that it is so temporary, that our spirit not necessarily is impaired or need to be impaired. So it's just one thing that is related to a defective machine that, for whatever reason, we decided to accept because it was going to be serving us better in our goal of perfection.
Thank you, and thank you for your open mind.
Okay, anyone else would like to ask or comment something? So let's go. Now we're going to be to go to a very difficult, interesting as well part of this study. When we are talking about the main properties of the perispirit, the pliability, malleability, as for instance, you know, when we here it shows a woman that is sleeping without any pajamas, but when she's released or I mean detaching herself from the body in this kind of emancipation, she projects herself in terms of perispirit wearing a clothes of her preference. So that refers to the morphological alterations that occur due to the continuous mental command of the spirit. So in this case, I can change the appearance according to the command of my spirit. And as a result of this property, the perispirit is capable of expanding and exteriorizing an out-of-body phenomenon and in its fluidic donation. So that's one of the properties that our perispirit have that possibilitates us to act in this way. Okay. The next one in terms of density. What is the density of our perispirit? So density is the property that deals with the measure of weight, ponderability, and luminosity, mental vibratory frequency. Both are related to the evolution of the spirit. So in terms of perispirit, it's good to be thin. Okay, because it means that we are more ethereal. And if we have a more ethereal perispirit, or sling, right? If we have a more ethereal perispirit, it means that we are more evolved. Okay, it doesn't mean, of course, that if I'm going to see a spirit is going to present oneself here with this appearance, the appearance of what one have in the material life, and it was someone that had more weight. It means that the density of the perispirit is bigger than it needs to be. It's just the appearance, remember. So we are talking here about weight and luminosity, right? And this is something, like we say, that we cannot disguise. We can go to the spirit realm and say, oh, I'm the very evolved spirit. They will take a look at us and say, right? There is no way that we can hide. There was an experiment that was done by Sir William Crookes, when he was studying also the spirit Kate King, that the medium Florence Cook was donating ectoplasm for her to materialize. And remember that the spirit, Kate King, it went through a series of examination, a hair examination, blood examination, all of that. And one of the things that continue, the researchers that were researching all of that at that time was the idea also of the 21 grams. Have you heard about the 21 grams already? Meaning that when we die, we lose 21 grams. We don't know what this 21 grams represent, but it could be at that present moment, the density or, the release of all this energy, and especially the perispirit. But it's important for us to know that there is this kind of density. This is the reason why spirits not necessarily see other spirits. Because, and we see that in the books, Life in the Spirit World, the collection from Andrea Lewis, when they say that sometimes, they go to regions of more density of suffering, and that they could go there without being observed, without any other spirit seeing him. And many times, in order for them to be seen and to communicate, they have to go through a process of densification of their own perispirit so that other spirits can see them. You see that how much there is for us to understand. And the same goes for more evolved spirits. So I'm in an average level spirit, and there are those very luminous spirits. I may not see them unless they densify their spiritual body. So perispiritual body. So as long as you have that, you have this possibility, like we said before, to change so that you can be seen and observed.
Usara,
Yes.
when I experienced the husband and wife spirits, they were fully clothed with clothes. I wonder, is the material, the clothing material, is that somehow spiritual? They were dressed up like regular human beings.
I don't know if I understood the question.
They're dressed up with clothes, and I know. I mean, is the clothes itself part of spirits?
There is a part, a study that I do recommend as well in the Spirits book. I think it's chapter 3, perhaps, that talks about exactly that. The materiality, a spirit that appears with a snuff box. Is that snuff box material or not? There is a whole study and dissertation by Kardec about that. But again, Orlando, we have to remember that when we are talking about spiritual world, we are talking about a matter as well. We are talking about material things. It's not the same material that we have here, but it is still matter. So that is okay. They do not have perhaps sewers there. There are going to be, sewing your pants, your blouses. Don't ask me how they are made, what kind of fabrics they have, what kind
of magic.
But I know that they have that. So this is why I said at the beginning, there is so much that we do not know, and at this point it would be just trying to guess. But we do know that there are clothes, there are chairs, there are tables, there are food, everything is material. There are a periodic table that is much more expanded than the one we have. but we still do not understand, as we do not understand yet here on earth, all the properties of matter that surround us. But yes, it's matter. Yes, Sonia?
How easy or difficult is to change this density for the groups who help us to support us inside the Spirit Center?
Yes, I mean, for them, we have spirits that are designated to help and assist in those works. Not only designated, but as we always try to remember everyone, they are the ones in charge. They are the ones that have put everything together and that invited us, to be, let's say, the more material aspect side of this work. But yes, I mean, to some of them, they will be more of an average level. And they will not find that much difficulty in being there. And to others, they will have to go through this process of densification. That is why, when we get into a spiritist center, we are always advised as well to raise our level of thought, because we ourselves also have this possibility even now. I mean, if I put myself in a very low condition, depression, negativity, I can lower, between a certain scale, I can lower or raise my possibilities, which is going to be the field of attraction for like minds to come to me. So if I'm here more below in a lot of negativity, I'm going to attract this kind of minds. And if I'm here, I'm going to be more open to their influence. And as a consequence, make also an impact on the atmosphere, making it easier for them to be there. Like, to breathe an air that is going to be more breathable to them. And as a consequence, even to promote the healing and all of they have planned for the work or not. So that's why each one of us, especially the practitioners, but also the ones that attend them, a place of worship, a place of meditation, they have a lot to contribute. And we should be very mindful of that, very aware of that. And it's very important for us to think about it. And also, there is a chapter on the book in the domain of mediumship. I don't know if chapter 27, 28, that talks about, I'm not so sure about the chapter, but talks about a session of materialization where they are going to promote the healing of a woman that is there. But the people that attended this meeting were so worried about, their own petition and their low-level thoughts and lack of preparation, that the spirits could not find the right atmosphere and material to work the way they were going to work. So they even promote some distractions by bringing flowers, materializing flowers, all those things, to see if they could gather the thoughts of people. But still, they say, we will be able to provide some comfort, some healing, but not what we had planned for today. So it is very important for us to think about it, because it totally depends on us to make it possible for them to act as they can, and for us to be receptive, because sometimes even when the ambient is good, they are capable, despite one or two people that have a different energy there, But if we do not open ourselves as well, we will not be able to gather all the benefits we could. That's why sometimes, we have the music, we have someone reading one uplifting message, all of that, the prayers to try to bring people to a more meditative stage so that they can kind of release their perispirit, a little bit from their physicality. And it's where the spirits are capable of promoting, the healing, the assistance we need.
Yusara,
Mhm.
when somebody's having a very serious life and death operation, does this perispirit steps aside of the body during that time?
First of all, let us always remember that the spirit, perispirit, is not confined in the physical body. Okay, we have this idea that the physical body is like a box,
Yes.
like a Aladdin lamp. Okay. So the lamp would be our physical body, and Aladdin is there, trapped inside.
Yes.
So we are not trapped inside in this manner. So if we're not trapped inside, what happened is the spirit is only going to disconnect from the physical body when there is death. Otherwise, even then, it takes a couple days, 72 hours for
Yes, I
a
know.
complete disconnection to happen. So we are connected, but we are, let's say, not as close. Even the anesthetics
Yes.
prevent the which in a way is very good, because then we don't feel pain, prevents us, this closeness and etc. But we are there, and I mean, we have the reports from the NDE, near-death experience, that they are there in the room seeing everything that is happening, or I went to, I saw the light, and all of that. So the spirit is there, the perispirit too. Okay, one more. Penetrability. It is the ability to cross through physical barriers if the required mental condition exists. So in case we still had the idea that if I close my doors and windows, ghosts cannot come into my room, this matter doesn't impact them. And nowadays, I do not understand about it. This is still something quite hard for me to understand, but the way physics tell us, not even, this concrete wall before me is actually that concrete, right? It's just molecules working fast and giving the appearance. So I I don't understand that quite well, but even science today is telling us that what seems concrete matter before our eyes not necessarily is that concrete. So if we are talking about a different, chemical possibilities and conjunctions, like we talk in terms of the periodic table, it's only normal to understand that this is not going to be an impediment for us to, to move about when we get to sleep. If that was the case, I would never leave my windows closed because I wanted to go and visit friends in the spirit realm and go to other worlds and fly and all that, and I cannot do that in my room, right? Question, comment?
Comment is simply that if you look at the chemistry of the elements, the atom is really mostly space. And that's why they can go back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see another one. Visibility. The perispirit is normally invisible to incarnate spirits. Less evolved discarnate spirits can only perceive the perispirits of those who are at the same level or at level inferior to their own. Such visibility is a natural occurrence among superior spirits. So it's what we were talking before about visibility. Um, in terms of the density as well, the luminosity. Here we see, I think this image, it has a representation of a suffering spirit. And there is this woman that is incarnate, laying down. And when she is detached, and because when we are out of body during our physical time of sleeping, we go around, we move about, and many times, depending on how we are and how we prepare ourselves, we can be of assistance to other spirits. We see here what would be a representation of a more evolved spirit utilizing the possibilities of this woman to reach this other one, because the direct method would be more difficult to happen. But it's important for us to know what we were saying, and I mentioned before, as crazy as it can be, not all the spirits can see spirits, right? It would be something like, being here and still being deprived of 20/20 vision. So I can see, but not quite well. I can see shadows, all these gradations that can happen. Okay. Sensitivity. It is the property of perceiving sensations, feelings, and emotions. These perceptions are not caught by means of a specific organs, but rather are sensed throughout the perispiritual body. So when we read the book Nasular, for instance, and the spirit Andrea Lewis talks about being thirsty, have hunger, and feeling cold and pain in a certain area of the body, all of that, it's because, like we said, there is a physical body. The perispirit is a physical body, a less dense one, and very much dense, the less evolved we are. So there is, but then when you say specifically, that's when sometimes you have a headache, and the doctor says, "Where is your headache?" And at least it happened to me. What do you mean, where is my headache? In the head. But it's specifically which area of the head. Not always we are capable of saying it's in the left, right, front, back, right. It's there. I have the sensation, but I cannot point out exactly where it is. Any comment, question?
Jusara,
Yes.
when I was attending the seances in the Bronx, anyway, in one of the seances, a spirit obsessed my body, and I saw myself looking through the back of my eyes, and right away they noticed what was happening, and the main principal, the spiritist, was able to remove that. It lasted like 14 seconds. But what happened to the? I'm trying to figure out the mechanics. Why I see myself looking behind my eyes, but I don't know how the main spirit that to obsess my body. I don't know. I'm trying to understand that.
You see, another thing that we have to keep in mind is that it's not very easy for us to move away from our physical body. Okay, and this moving away means, like, day sleep stage that sometimes we get, oh, I just dozed for a for a minute or so. In this moment, we already, our spirit, perispirit, already moved about, and we can have in that twilight, in between zones, we can have the impressions of what is happening in the room. And so I have because I'm not that much detached.
Yes.
I'm enough detached to feel and perceive everything that is in the room. I feel conscious, completely conscious, but we're not. So it's like we get into a state of light trance.
Yes.
Without realizing that much. And so I can have, I know people that is behind me, because I'm not seeing with these eyes. I'm seeing with the eyes of the spirit that is more or less detached from my physical body.
Yusara, that was beautiful, and I congratulate you.
And this actually, the spirits tell us that every time, let's say that you think about, or Sonia is thinking about her mother there in Brazil, just by me saying that, and she thinking that, for a split of second, her spirit was not in her body. It went there and saw her mother. Because we are where our thought is. Again, it's very difficult for us to understand that. That's why, all those great philosophers, religious figures, like I love Thich Nhat Hanh, like when he says, be mindful, because be mindful, mindfulness, all this process that, even in small things, like you're thirsty, you drink thinking about something else, and all of a sudden I'm still thirsty, because you didn't process all of the what is required during this process of drinking the water, eating, and all of that. You were not there in the moment. And it's very easy for us to do that. And for whatever reason, and whatever the ambient we are, we may have the remembrance of that. We may be more suggestive to all of that. And I do believe that it was more or less what happened to you. But of course, I cannot say exactly if that is the case.
Oh, sure. I just wanted to tell you, my mother would attend another seance, and she was obsessed for about 3 weeks. With 3 weeks, I had to live with an obsessed, my mother obsessed body, until the lady that from my seance that I would go, she removed the was able to remove the obsessed spirit. And we left the apartment, oh my God.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know if it's the case, but last month, then I had like a bad situation, and I was like angry and not with sweet thoughts. and feelings. And then I think I don't want to be in this situation. And then I start to read a book, a very special book, Paul and Seven,
Sorry?
a very special book, Paulo and Steven.
Oh, that's a beautiful book. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I start reading, then immediately I changed that situation I was living, because this book have like some very nice energy. And then I changed that situation. Then when you mention for Orlando, you are where your thoughts are, then it's true. We can change our complete situation about your life if you change your thoughts and feelings. It's very nice.
Yes, absolutely. So we are going to finish now.
I have a